Hello, today we're going to be going through our low profile pan installation as well as our spring clips for our wall systems. First step in the process, just make sure that you have everything ready to have a successful install. Make sure that we have all the supplied materials ready. We want to make sure our framing pocket's correct. And then here's some materials as well that will help you have a successful install. First step in installation is just verifying dimensional criteria. We want to check the outside dimensions. We want to check the drain location and the box out. The dimensions for this are supplied with the cut sheet. That way you can make sure that the dimensions you're seeing match the pan. The most important dimensions where we see failure for installation are going to be around the box out, and we'll discuss that here in the next few slides. Next step is to make sure that our subfloor is level. So in our low threshold blue bottom units, they come out of the factory pre-leveled, and that is our standard for level. So to get a good install, we always recommend that our subfloors are level within an eighth low, nothing proud because that'll flex the pan out. So we just want to run a level throughout the pocket, verifying that measurement is correct. As I stated earlier, probably 80–90% of the installation issues that come across my desk have to do with this box out step. It is constantly done incorrectly just due to a lack of care or attention to detail. Our pans, due to the low threshold, will sit below grade, and so we need this recess to ensure that slope keeps going down. If it doesn't, then the pan will flex out and you will not get it to drain properly. The 3/4 is a minimum, so that's just the depth of the box out. That's a minimum. If it's an inch and a half, goes to infinity. That is not the concern. It is mostly the 8x8 and having the drain centered in that. I cannot stress this step in making sure it is done correctly enough. As I said earlier, 80–90% of our installation issues come right through this step right here being done incorrectly. Next thing we're going to do is remove any debris from the box out here. We're using an adhesive to adhere our showers down to the subfloor. So just to make sure that we get good contact with the subfloor, this is just a cleanliness step. If this is full of dirt or debris, the adhesive is going to bond to that instead of the subfloor as it's intended. Next step is a dry fit. If you listen to me on the box out, I hope you listen to me on this one. This is a great area to check to see if there are going to be any issues before you glue your pan down. We want to make sure that everything that's designed as intended and is going to work properly. We want to place a level on the perimeter sheetrock ledges. Those are all molded level. So you want to make sure that the reading on the left, the right, and the very back are all level, as well as the front threshold. That is another molded feature that is level. Wall systems will all be indicated off or indexed off these walls. So we want to make sure that that is level. And then we also want to ensure that we have proper slope to the drain. So if you're in the center of the pan, you just kind of want to move that clockwise, ensuring that there's no rocks and that we're getting slope to the drain. So if you missed the box out step, if that wasn't done, any of those issues that would occur because that was done incorrectly, you could find out here in this dry fit step. Next component is drain assembly. This is done by a licensed plumber. We just have an assembly view here of our standard brass drain with all the components to that. We want to install that before we get to gluing the pan down. A tip here, our adhesive can change with heat, the viscosity can. So these warming bags can be used to help dispense the adhesive. Another nice tool to have is a battery gun that has a dispensing mechanism for those. The one thing that I would state is those, regardless of brand, they hold a wide variety of cartridges. You just want to make sure that as that piston's driving down, that is on the same plane as the coaxial tube. If that's not, then you'll see the tube start to bend and pinch. And if the operator's not careful, they can bust the tube. That's regardless of our adhesive tube or not, just the way they design those guns are to handle a variety of different sizes. One step that we try to instill for best practices is a purge of the adhesive. So before we put a static mixing tube on the adhesive, there's two separate parts of that adhesive, but we want to make sure that they're dispensing correctly. In the manufacturing process, the hardening agent can trap a little bit of air and make that initial purge take a little bit longer. Just to make sure that you get the correct mix, we suggest before you putting that mixing tube on is to just inject a little bit out until you see both the resin and hardening agent come out evenly. From there, we're going to place our adhesive in the shower pocket. Right here, we're seeing a grid pattern that's 6 inches by 6 inches from epoxy dollops, 4 inches off the left side and 2 inches above the front threshold. An important step is to make sure that we get the adhesive height correctly. That is 3/4 of an inch. I recommend, grabbing a piece of 3/4 inch material, whether that's wood or something similar, just so you have a height for index. Once you do a couple of those with the index, then your eye will kind of catch that height and you can keep moving forward. It's important to get that height so we make sure we make contact with the pan and that we're not cutting that adhesive short, especially if those spots that you could have had underneath there. That height allows us to get the correct support and sufficient contact with both the subfloor and the shower base. This adhesive is a chemical cure, so it's not driven by moisture or anything like that. So for a added indicator for cure, you could take 2 pieces of scrap material, put a little adhesive on it, and set that aside. Once you put the shower base down, it's going to be hard to indicate the degree of cure, but this indicator left out of the shower pocket will give you that indicator. We also put on our adhesive tubes, they'll be working time with temperature. As temperature increases, your working time's less, and the opposite of that is true. Those are on our adhesive labels in both English and Spanish to give you a rough indicator of your environment and how the adhesive will behave in that. Once that adhesive is placed, we're just going to set the shower base down in that. We're going to do one more check here for level and slope. We have the diagram here on the top right that kind of gives you the slope indicators. Once again, showing, is the design intent realized? Are we getting proper slope to the drain? Are there any rocks? If we were to find any issues right now, we'd be able to pull that unit up before the adhesive cures. That is not ideal, but it is a lot more affordable than when the unit or when that adhesive is cured. When that adhesive's cured, you're gonna have to rip the shower base out. That's gonna be your wall system, floors. It is a very expensive process. So this is just one more check to alleviate any of those concerns that could have happened. We're just gonna check the sheetrock ledges, the front threshold for level, and then we're gonna do our slope checks. Just do that one more time before that adhesive is fully cured. Once the shower's pan is down and we've checked all of our dimensions, we're going to weight the unit down. This is just to help make sure we get good contact with that adhesive, both on the subfloor and shower base. The instructions on how to build these weight plates are in the installation instructions. We're just going to place some weight. We have some bags of cement shown here, but you could use buckets of water, anything that's dead weight here. We're going to put that weight on the weight plates as well as the front threshold. Those weight plates are designed to kind of follow our slope lines. That way we're not going to deform the pan in an unnecessary or unneeded way. Once the weight has cured, if you're coming back the next day or you checked your indicator, you can remove that weight, and then we're going to pre-drill to get ready for our fasteners. Always recommend pre-drilling, just best practice, and to stay away from impact guns. Some people can get a little aggressive with the impact guns, and you can suck the screw head through the shower base if you're not careful. So just a pre-drill on all the studs, and then you're going to place an anchoring or a fastener through there. We have it shown as wood, so you could use drywall, regular screw there. But if you have CMU or masonry, just use a masonry hardware. Use whatever you're drilling into, whatever that structural member is. Use the fastener correct for that. From there, we're just going to finish up the drain assembly here. We're going to put on the compression gasket as well as that top locking nut. We'll be able to fasten that in, make sure that we get a good bite onto the pipe, and then we'll put the drain screen on top of that. Once the base is installed properly, we can begin our wall installation, and we'll be going through the spring clip design in this demo. First component is just starting off with the back wall. As I said earlier in the presentation, that back wall is level when we place or the back wall on the pan is level. When we place our back wall on there, we want to make sure that that's transferring up top. So I'll just rest that back wall on there on that sheetrock ledge, place the wall on there, ensure it's level. Once it's ensured, then we're just going to anchor that to the studs. Once again, pre-drilling and using the correct fastener for the structural member. Once the lower back wall's installed, we're going to move on to the upper back wall. We have some index pins to help align the two walls. The bottom half is going to have some pins and the top half is going to have some mating holes. So we're just going to slide those down, make sure that we get the correct index from top to bottom. From there, we're just going to check level to make sure that what we've got from the base lower back wall is also transferring to the upper back wall. Once we feel confident in that, we will then attach the upper back wall to the studs. Once again, pre-drilling and using the correct fasteners. After the back walls are installed, we're going to move on to the side walls. We have a spring clip design here. We're going to place a construction adhesive against the spring clip. This is supplied with the order, and how that will behave is once we engage the sidewalls, that adhesive will cure, and then it will prevent the spring clip from moving anymore. It'll lock it in place. Next step is going to be checking for our valve holes. We want to make sure that we dimensionally get those correct. Once you drill into these holes or drill into the walls, it is a little laborious to patch and fix these. So this is definitely a step you want to measure twice and cut once. We have molded features on the top and left side of the wall shown here. So we want to go off those. If you're to go to the right, you'll see some geometry into the pan that's designed to help engage into those spring clips. That is not where we want to measure from. We want to measure from the outside and going into the valve. That'll be your true dimension, and that'll be the one that's molded, and then top down as well. So be cautious when you're doing these measurements. Take your time, because once you cut through this, it's a little bit of a repair compared to just a simple chip or scratch. Once those holes are in place, we're just going to slide that wall into those spring clips that were shown. Those will lock in once that construction adhesive is cured, and then we're going to go through and pre-drill and screw the sidewall in once again using the correct fasteners. Once all the walls are in place, we're just going to silicone the seams. This is applied or supplied with the order. One thing we want to be cautious of is all of our bases have a weep hole. So in the slide, the sidewall has a cove designed into it. So, if the silicone fails for, several issues, whether it was poorly applied or, the building settled over time, cleaning materials, whatever could have caused the silicone to degrade. We've tried to incorporate a indicator that allows you to notice that you're getting water behind your unit. So if the silicone were to fail on the sidewall and where the back wall meet, water would get down there and drop to the pan and it'd make its way to the weep hole. We do not want to cover that with silicone to leave that indicator available to us. It's a lot less expensive to know that you have an issue behind your wall now compared to, rotting drywall or your floors rotting. This will give you a leading indicator that we have an issue behind our unit, and it's better to know that sooner than later. With that, that completes our demo on low profile installation as well as spring clip wall systems. Thank you for your time.